What's up, podcast audience? This is Andy with GrindWorks, and I'm just kind of driving and recording some thoughts at the same time. So you might hear noise, a rattling toolbox, other cars, people honking at me because I drive slow. Who really knows? But I normally listen to music or catch up on other podcasts while I'm driving. This time, I'm sure I'll do that later on. But I've been avoiding a couple of topics, podcasts, episodes, any of that type of stuff. And realistically, spending 5.5 to 6 hours in the car is just a waste of time if I don't address the things I've been blowing off. So one of them sucks, and I'm just gonna start out with some info that maybe is more than anyone really needs to know, but it's a good discussion point and starting point. But when we started making pegs, we've always charged $20 a piece. With, limited discounts here and there. Typically a homie hookup where if you buy 3, I'll give you the 4th. Or I'll throw in a shirt or stickers or, some incentive. If you're buying 4 pegs, I want to hook you up. So we've always charged $20. When we started out making pegs, this would have been 2013. when I broke my leg/ankle. So it was, let's just say early 2014 was when we got our first batch. We were paying $9.50 per peg from the machine shop, and then had our, handling and packaging and all that stuff that we have to do to make them look pretty and presentable. Then they made them roughly $11 a piece. And then we were selling them to shops for $13. And then they could sell them at $20 as well. Now, obviously, there's an issue there because shops are making more money than we are. And not just a little bit, but we're making almost nothing at that point, and shops are making $7 a peg. But that's fine. Not a big deal, right? Nothing that I was worried about. I thought it was good, got our name out there, whatever. Over the years, that peg cost has grown for us, and we've never changed our prices. So, we did change them to the shops last year or the year before. Our peg costs have crept up, but they're now roughly $13.50 a piece, I think, by the time they're packaged. So to the shop, that's okay, well, I can't sell it to you at $13 because I'm going to lose money, literally lose money. But I'll do them at $14 because it still helps the shop out, gets the name out there, whatever. Everyone's still selling at $20. When we sell them, we're making money. If I do the buy 3, get the 4th free, we're just barely making money, mostly breaking even. But again, long story, GrindWorks has never been about making money. It's about doing cool things for the scene. And if we can do cool things for the scene, I'm all about it. So, we were approached by, I'm going to just say, a reputable BMX brand, because I don't have permission to name drop either the individual or the company. I didn't reach out and ask for it to talk about this on the podcast, so they would likely be okay with it, but still, we're just going to keep them unnamed. But anyway, reached out to by a reputable BMX brand asking if we would be interested in making US pegs for them. In addition to what we're doing as GrindWorks. So, of course we're interested in that. Higher volume means I can hopefully bring that price down by making, all at once, buying all the material at once, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, super interested in it. Now, I will note this is not the first time that this same brand has approached us for this project, and I was interested both times, but the first time it didn't work out for one reason or another. So this go around, super interested, definitely want to make something happen. Get quotes from the machine shop for making the higher quantities, and at higher quantities, the material alone for pegs is up $5 a piece, making my cost $18.50. And that doesn't include any labor adjustments and stuff. Basically, I ended up with a no quote out of the shop because they know where the margin is. $18.50 a piece to make a peg that I can sell at $20 and clearly can't sell to any shops, and definitely can't afford to give them away anymore if that's the case. And quite frankly, I'm not sure that they're worth doing at that rate. Plus, that was high volume. So now that we're talking a lower volume again, because if it's going to cost me $18.50 a piece at a high volume, and I got to pass that on to a brand that has to pass that on to a distributor that has to pass that on to a shop before it gets to an end customer, we're so blown out of the water, it's not even feasible. So, unfortunately, had to pass on any workings with this brand, and I wish them the best of luck with whatever they end up doing, although I assume it's not going to be U.S. made pegs. Moving forward, I don't know what that means for GrindWorks in the long run, but I know that for the short term, due to all of the material increases and manufacturing instability, partially due to COVID, partially due to some industries just catching up with lags and losses over time, and just supply chain issues, shipping, all of that, material vendors are only holding pricing for 24 hours right now. So even if I get a quote and then in 2 weeks tried to order to it, I'm not going to get the material at the price that was quoted to me. Might go up, might go down, but everything has gone up quite drastically. Now, where we're at with that, and again, if this is boring you, I understand. Just fast forward just a hair, because I'm going to move on from this shortly. Where we're at with that is that I have inventory of both the foundation pegs and the streetlight pegs. Not a massive amount of inventory, but I do have inventory. Now, based on how many I've either given away on jams or events and everything, or done the homie hookup on, I will not generate enough income based on selling my entire batch that I have to even produce another batch. So I'm going to have to eat that, which is fine. I'm not complaining. I'm just letting everyone know what's up. Just to produce another batch. I intend to hold that price at the existing $20 a peg, obviously with no hookups or anything going on at the moment, but I will hold $20 a peg until we have our summer jams or whatever we're going to end up doing. That's another topic that I'll get to. After that, I'm going to figure out where we have to be at to make a reasonable margin on pegs. That also hopefully allows me to sell it to a shop and them also make a reasonable margin. And that margin has to be good enough so that I can still afford to do cool things for the scene, or else it's not worth doing GrindWorks at all. If I can't do cool things for the scene with it, and I could do more without it, if that makes any sense. So I don't know if I'm seeing material increases. I know for a fact other people are too. It's how much can they afford to eat on that, or are they going to pass it on? And I think that we're going to see the industry passing costs on, and they might seem extreme. If I'm, there's been discussion for years and years and years that parts have not gone up all that much. If you think about, let's talk about a frame from like 2001. If you wanted to buy, I think, a standard STA 500 or something like that, way back then. So yeah, 20 years ago. I am fairly confident they were either $375 or $400 20 years ago. What is it right now? I'm driving. I can't look it up. I'm rambling. But I don't know. What are they? Like $430, $450, maybe $500? And obviously it's not an STA 500, but material has gone up. Material is not that cheap. Everyone is eating that money or losing money because everything else in the world has gone up in price, and BMX has roughly stayed the same. Look at the cost of mountain bikes and road bikes versus BMX bikes. So I don't want to get stuck in a rabbit hole. I'm not trying to go down that road and look, crazy or anything, but prices are going to have to go up. So I'm not going to be surprised if everyone else's, pegs are going to be increasing by, say, $5 a piece or something. So I'm hopeful that we can be somewhere in the like $25 to $30 range. And I think that's ridiculous, personally. I really do. I don't think it's a price that we can sustainably charge for pegs. But I'm going to put it there after the jams. And if they sell, that is going to be a key indicator of whether we should or should not continue making pegs. So it's really going to be up to you guys. On that same note, I will strongly urge you, if you have any interest in getting pegs, order them now. Order them before we do the jam. Order them before the pegs increase in price. Or I sell out of them and can't get them. So I know this is a long ramble. I'm going to move on from it. That's where we're at. GrindWorks will not cease to exist either way, but GrindWorks is definitely going to have a refocusing, because I'm very confident that even if you guys are interested in still buying pegs here and there, it's not going to be at the same volume or capacity that it has been in the past. And I'm not sure that it's intelligent for that to be the primary business model or decisions, to be making pegs that cost that much. So I think we're going to be refocusing, definitely focusing more on the podcast, focusing more on some of the live stream stuff I've been doing with Twitch, focusing more on other types of products, and go from there. I will pick this back up in a moment. I need to stop and get gas. All right, I'm back into this now. Just got back in the car out of the gas station, went in to grab something to drink after I fueled up. And I know everyone's tired of the mask thing for sure, but I do want to just throw it out there that one of the best things to come out of COVID is lines, dude. Like, for a couple of reasons, but even a line that looks pretty long isn't that long now, because no one's standing nuts to butts anymore. No one's like right up in your business talking in your ear about how slow the cashier is or anything like that. So that's pretty sweet. I'm pretty into it. I definitely hope that sticks around for a long time to come, and that no one's trying to get all up in my business while standing in lines like ever again. You just don't need to. Leave me alone. But yeah, I don't even remember where I was at. I think I was talking about what we were getting into now and what the new focus should be on. I know I mentioned the Twitch stuff we've been doing there live, whether it's live episodes of podcast, just kicking it, kind of whatever there, or playing games. Pretty much always open to whatever. I don't post too much about it because, to be fair, they're really different target audiences. I'm stoked if any of you guys are coming over there hanging out or whatever, but I know that the Twitch audience is typically gaming oriented, and I know that the podcast audience probably has an eclectic mix of both, but you're here because BMX is in the name of the podcast title, and because that's what GrindWorks is historically and typically all about. So I just use the name for pretty much everything I do. But yeah, come check that out. Hang out over there if you want to sometime. Make me talk about bikes. Make me play pipe. It's all good. Ignore when I'm drinking, because it's going to look like long pauses. I just don't feel like editing them out because it might suck. I hate editing podcasts. I know I talk about that all the time. I'm also all over the place. Normally when I do a solo cast, I script it and then improv a little bit, but mostly script it. So I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it in the order I want to talk about it, and I can really get into it that way. Make sure I don't just ramble. But I'm going to ramble because I got time in the car and nothing else to do other than I started this with a low battery. So I had the break to get gas. I'm probably going to have a break to change a battery here at some point. But whatever. So yeah, I'm hoping to, on top of that, we have some bottle openers that are in the store. Had interest in them after the jams last year because we had a couple of sample ones that MHS Machine had made as jam prizes. So I have some of those GrindWorks branded ones. You feel free to hit the store, check those out. I only have pocket tees right now as far as shirts go. I started a new batch of wax, but I'm not super stoked on the outcome, so I need to make some changes to that. The wax that I have, like the base and the blend, is not the same that I've historically used, which really freaking sucks, because I like our old blend, but I can't get that wax brand anymore, and my blend sucks now. So whatever. We'll figure all that out. It's a little bit softer, so I know it'll work better in the cold months. But typically, the softer stuff melts in your bag, and I really don't want low temp wax. So it says it's not low temp, but I don't love it. So we'll see where that goes. I'm rambling a lot. But you guys, I don't know why you listen to me anyway. It's not like I've got an interesting voice. Usually I talk too slow. Sometimes I talk too fast. I don't know what I'm doing. Ugh. I just know that I've avoided this episode for a while because I didn't want to talk about the pricing and the fact that I don't even know what I'm doing with GrindWorks at this point. Hopefully I'll be able to get some more shirts out there. Hopefully maybe we'll do some hats again this year. That's always a thing that we talk about a ton, and then we always flop on it. We never do it, and it drives me nuts. But I've had a tab open on my phone for 7 months or more now because I was going to order them in the fall, and I didn't order beanies in the fall. And now it's, Mother's Day weekend? So, like, middle of May? And I didn't order the beanies that I popped the page for on October something. Which also sucks because I was supposed to order them from Upstate merch. And I hate flopping on that stuff. Like, if I reach out, I want to pull the trigger. And I meant to, dude. I'm sorry, Dylan. And crew. It just didn't happen. But I guess at this point, it's really up to you guys what happens with GrindWorks. Because I have plenty of directions that I would be okay with taking GrindWorks. But I really, really want to stick with pegs. I just don't know the feasibility moving forward. And maybe all the other prices are going to skyrocket too, and it's not going to feel ridiculous to be at, that $25 to $30 a peg mark. But man, does that sound outrageous right now. Just absolutely outrageous sounding. Moving on to a different topic that I'm sure I'll trail back to this at some point. Jams. I do not have dates for the jams this year yet. Pittsburgh and Binghamton. Pittsburgh, I would love to do something different that's not the typical, like, meet up at MLK, cruise spot to spot through the city. It would be super fun to do something like a scavenger hunt or something like that. I just haven't hashed out any details, and I'm not sure how much time I actually have to make something like that work. But Binghamton is the bigger issue with jams, and I don't know to what degree you guys have seen it. I've known this was happening for a while and just haven't talked about it. Hang on. That bridge was a screamer. But HCS, where we typically have the Binghamton Jam, has had a handful of issues this year with the town. And they don't need anyone getting involved with the town trying to stir up trouble on their behalf or in support of them or anything like that. But they are having issues with the town. So basically, they've been shut down since January. He's been able to regain access to his building to do metal fabrication work, but has not been able to operate the skate park, and is continuing not to be able to operate the skate park. My understanding at the last time I spoke with Derek is that they're working on the resolution, and he hopes to be able to be open again. But it also sounds like this year may not be the best time to throw a jam where we conventionally, smash a vehicle in the parking lot and have a lot of people there and all sorts of stuff like that. So that is not 100%. But I am going to say right now that I am 99% sure we are not having a Binghamton Jam at HCS. That sucks really, really bad, and I'm not stoked on that. But they are doing a GoFundMe to help, keep the park open. So if anyone's interested in supporting that, I will definitely put the link in the description of this episode. I will tweet out the link. I'll put it out on Facebook again. I know it's already out there. I'll share it on Instagram, all the important stuff. But there is a GoFundMe, or you can reach out to the HCS Skate Park Instagram page and find the link there. So if you can contribute anything to help keep the park open, that's awesome. I'd be stoked. I know Derek would be stoked, and pretty much the whole scene would be stoked that we're helping them through that and that they can stay open and hopefully host a jam again next year. Even if everything gets sorted out, by midsummer or something with the town. I don't know how Derek feels about it. My gut feeling is there's no reason to poke the bear. And, if you finally get the ability to open your business back up and you throw a huge jam and destroy a vehicle in the parking lot, etc., etc., they just don't need that attention. So I'd rather try to come up with something else for Binghamton, too. Maybe we'll revert back to what we did the very first year and do a sherry session and then ride some street. Binghamton's home, so I definitely want to do something still for that. With all that said, I don't have dates. I will try to come up with some dates. I'm hoping while I'm up in Binghamton this weekend that I can link up with Derek and maybe we can chat a little bit. Maybe he'll be down to do a podcast episode where he can kind of give you some more information as to what's happening with the town and why he's shut down and whatnot. But I don't know. It's also perfectly fair that after 5 months, maybe he just doesn't want to talk about it anymore. So we'll play that one by ear. I got to reach out to him, see what he's up to. I'd be super stoked to have him on, even to talk about anything else again, because it's just fun chatting with Derek and talking about all the things we don't like about bikes and how dumb they are and how stupid turndowns look. I always have to throw that one in there because I know you all hate it. But at least I'm not threatening your beautiful tabletops. So we're all good, right? Let's see. What else do we have going on? I can't really think of anything. Like I've been dragging heels on a lot of stuff. Been not stoked on putting episodes out because I knew this one had to happen and I was just avoiding it. So if I had a recorded episode with a set number, then I didn't need to record this one until that one was posted. But then I was sitting on episodes for like a month before posting it, so that's not good. Makes it seem like I wasn't stoked on what we talked about, which like wasn't the case. I really don't have anything else that I can think of right this second. I'm going to try to leave the recorder out, and if anything just strikes me, then I'm gonna just pick it up, record again, splice it all together. This episode's gonna have like 15 endings in it and 15 starts, and it'll be awesome. But I don't know, whatever, man. I'm hoping to ride some bikes this weekend, but it looks like it's gonna rain. This whole trip is rain. I'm driving in the rain right now. It's sucky. Oh, I do have some other info, and I didn't even stop the recording yet. Road trips. I was unsure what we were going to be able to do with, obviously, the pegs and jams and whatever. So one of the things I decided for this year was that we were just going to take trips. And I say we because I really freaking hope I'm not going alone on any of these, but who really knows? I'm trying to pick one weekend a month to go somewhere. And I've got a couple of cities picked out, but I'm not really planning on much. Got like Chicago, St. Louis, Louisville, Boston, Buffalo, Richmond. I'd like to make it down to somewhere in North Carolina. And I would absolutely love to make it to Portland, Maine again, but I just don't see that one happening. Not for a weekend trip anyway, without flying. But trying to take one weekend a month, probably take a Monday off, drive out Friday night, drive home Monday. Right now, I am actually looking at next weekend, so by the time you guys see this, that will be this weekend, or hear this, I guess. That'll be this weekend, May 14th to May 17th. I'm going to be out in Chicago. Should be interesting, should be fun. I think got a couple of people lined up to go with me. Got a couple of people that are questionable still, and I got a couple people on the injured list that I didn't even talk to. Not really trying to pack the house, not trying to throw like spur of the moment jams or anything, but definitely trying to go have a fun time, maybe record an edit or two, and just see what comes of it. I haven't been riding all that much myself, so like getting out and doing this is really important to me, and I'm sure that everyone else is going to be stoked on it too. But May 17th or May 14th to May 17th is tentatively Chicago. I shouldn't be so convinced of that because there's entirely an element of, if it's going to be raining, I'm going to pick a different direction and go that way instead. So it's always up in the air. Could definitely all of a sudden be heading south or east or who knows where, rather than northwest. I don't know. But that's something to look forward to. I don't know if that'll be like one big video project for all of them total, or if it'll be little video projects. Who really knows? Maybe it'll just be fun trips that we don't record much of anything on. It's really all up in the air right now. Hoping to have a good mix of skate park and street. Pretty tired of like the only street push. Now, I'm pretty sure that comes from the fact that I'm not riding all that often, so like sometimes I just want to get out and cruise a park, man. If I made a point that every time I was out it had to be street riding, I would just ride even less. At the same time, with how few times I get out, I don't want to waste it either and feel like it was just a crap session or whatever. And that can go either way. But I know for sure that I'm not trying to go to parks I don't like when I only get one session a week or like every other week sometimes. It feels like for the last 6 months or so, and that's maybe a stretch, but maybe not. The only times I've even gotten out and ridden is when people are in town. And I don't even think that's an exaggeration. I might have gone out one time on my own that I can even think of, where it was just me. Yeah, that sucks. But is what it is. So I'm doing that. If you want to hop in on any of those, or you want us to come to your town, hit us up in the comments. Send us a message on Instagram. Let me know what's up, where you're at. And we'll see what we can do. I mean, I'm going to be in Florida in June. Port St. Lucie area. Fort Pierce, whatever. I don't think I'm going to have my bike. But that doesn't mean I'm not around, couldn't hang out, record a podcast episode, something like that. I will have a vehicle, so I'll be able to get wherever. And that'll be fun, but I'm pretty bummed I'm not taking my bike. If I was driving, I'd for sure have it. But we don't think it's a good idea. With the amount of time I have to be there, it would take more time to drive down and drive back with Ryder in the car than it would to fly, or than we would be there. So we're flying, we're renting a car, it's going to cost a fortune. It's super fun, but it'll be good. Rachel's family's in Florida there, so we'll get to spend time with them. They'll get to hang out with Ryder. Ryder will get to hang out with the family. And that's awesome. So I guess I can go on a trip without my bike, even though I really, truly don't believe in it. Anything else? Keystone to Jam is the following weekend from when I get back from Chicago. So that would be the 22nd, May 22nd, Keystone to Jam at Zelian Opal Park in Pittsburgh. Technically Zelian Opal, PA, but yeah, Pittsburgh. Come out, hang out, Keystone Jam. I don't know exactly what the details are. I know Jash is organizing it, so if you want to hit him up for details, go ahead. I know there's going to be some sort of after party at another dude's house, Jake, so there should be plenty of fun to be had. I've got some limited room for people to crash at my place if you're trying to travel into town. And I'm sure other people can offer up the same, but hit me up if you're trying to come out to that, or hit Jash up, and we'll get you situated with a place to crash. I ended that last section abruptly because I had nothing else to say. But, got thinking about it down the road a little ways, and also curious, going back to the, like, what are we doing with GrindWorks and all of that stuff. And obviously I've got the presence on Twitch. Last episode with Kevin and Josh, there was not an overwhelming amount, but there was a little bit of video game talk and stuff like that. And I don't want to change focus of the podcast, but I am curious about what you guys think of alternate topics, not necessarily specific to BMX, but like peripherals, other things people do as well. We all have different interests and stuff. whether it's like woodworking or electronics, gaming, just other things they might like or you might like jogging or pole vaulting or curling, lifting weights. I could just keep listing things because I thought that would be funny, but then I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. Anyway, I know like some of the more interesting episodes we've had have not necessarily been about BMX or not entirely about BMX. And one of them that I'm thinking of in particular is Sam Weber's episode. We talked a lot, maybe half the episode, about farming and kind of the economics of it and the ins and outs and, you know, what he does on a day-to-day basis. And I would like to do more of that stuff where, you know, I'm not stuck on just you ride a bike, I ride a bike, we like bikes, ride bikes, do bike things. What are your favorite bike tricks? How long have you ridden bikes? Blech. Mostly I got burned out on it doing those COVID episodes. And I know I've said this, but I talked to like 4 different parks and the story was relatively the same. And like, it's good and bad. But I was hoping for more diversity. I really kind of forced some of them to happen. And that was also demotivating. So I would like to get into doing more of these episodes more often that aren't necessarily bike related too. I'd like to still keep that the primary focus, like I'm saying. But like maybe catch some skaters in there, or, you know, occasionally have someone that like primarily is a gamer, or maybe even I'd be stoked to sit down and talk to the machine shop dude that makes our pegs normally. He's, man, I don't even know how old he is, but he's older. He owns the shop. He likes motorcycles and mountain bikes and running machine shops. So, like, I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff that could happen on the outside that doesn't have to be so focused and black and white on bikes. Not that it's a bad thing, but there's just so much more. And like, we all have these other things we do. Music is a good example too of things that, you know, people are into. They're playing in bands or whatever, and we might touch on it, but it's never the focus of the discussion. And maybe it should be. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking out loud while I'm driving. This might be the worst podcast. It might actually be listenable. I don't really know yet. I can promise you one thing. I will do the bare minimum editing I need to splice these audio tracks together and get it out to you. Because I don't care. I just want to get it out, though. I don't want to keep sitting on episodes after I record them, dreading the next one that I know I have to record. I don't think that's good. So this one is getting done, and I'm stoked that the like sucky part is out of the way, because now we can talk about cool new things and whatever's coming with it. I definitely want to do more of that stuff. And I know you guys might hate it because it's not all BMX. Some of you guys might love it and be like, wow, I never knew that. And that's what I'm hoping for. Everyone can listen to just BMX stuff and talking about the glory days and our favorite or least favorite, whatever. Favorite tires. The OG Primo walls hold that hands down. The new Primo walls I cannot make a comment on yet, even though I intend to get some. And anticipate being disappointed by the fact that they're not OG Primo walls. But I got to keep an open mind and not be negative right out of the gate, because I know that. But whatever. I'll figure out what I'm doing. I'll probably keep doing the live shows. I don't think I'll ever play or repost another one of the live episodes, because they really lack the element of interaction, and I anticipate they're hard to listen to based on the fact that there's no context. There's comments coming in, I'm reading them. A lot of the time they detract from the conversation that's happening currently and take you in a different route, which is fine in the moment, but it definitely creates an unlistenable episode. Like this one. This one has to be hands down unlistenable. So, is what it is. Still driving, still on the same road. Probably going to be on this road for another 45 minutes. Then I'll be on that road for an hour. Maybe I'll do another one of these driving episodes when I'm in the car on the way to Chicago. And we can just get car thoughts where we're all just kicking it. And you know how it is when you're in the car and you kind of come up with scenarios and you just spitball off of it, and you get a little bit ridiculous and you say things that are offensive but funny. Maybe we'll do that and record it. Maybe we won't. Who knows? And maybe everyone will just fall asleep in the car because it's a 7-hour drive to Chicago and we're not going to leave till 6 at night. You guys don't care about any of this, but for some reason you're still listening. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm just going to take another break here. If there's more stuff to say, I will start recording again. I know what I want to say. The new Apple Podcast. Okay, try that again. I know what I want to say. The new Apple Podcast update sucks. Sucks real bad. You went from being able to just view your favorite podcasts, know how many episodes you had that you hadn't listened to yet, and it would automatically move the ones that you had listened to back to the unadded folder, and then you didn't have to see them unless you wanted to. Now it doesn't even tell you how many episodes you have unlistened to. It tells you the last date that the podcast series was updated. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's worthless. And they're all kind of mixed back in again. So it's super hard at a real quick glance, especially let's say you're driving and your podcast episode ends. You want to throw another one on. That app sucks now. Apple needs to fix it real fast and revert it back to the old way. It also made certain podcasts unavailable on there, or removed a good portion of the episodes for no good reason at all. And it looks like they're filtering back in where you can see them again, but not all of them. I'm specifically talking about the Different Spokes podcast. Everything that was updated, added a long time ago, was still there, but he changed hosting sites, and then everything that was new on the new hosting site didn't show up in Apple Podcasts. And now it's trickling in. It looks like it's filling in sporadically with some episodes. But it's super weird and super lame that it would make your whole podcast appear unavailable or out of date and not relevant when it's clearly been updated on any other platform. All right, I don't want to be too negative, but I was just using said app again, and I really hate it. Next topic. Where are you listening to this? Because every time I post a poll about where you're listening to this, everyone always says YouTube. But YouTube has less views on it than the Anchor and Spotify and all of that together have listens. So the poll doesn't make any sense. So I'm just curious, where are you listening to this on? And like, does it make sense to do YouTube for everything? Or like this episode where I'm using just the voice recorder and I'm going to have to throw some sort of image on this entire podcast episode to throw it up on YouTube. Is anyone even watching it? Does it matter? Like, I seriously want input on that. So if you're hearing this, either comment on the episode or send a DM to @GrindWorks _BMX on Instagram, because I want to know. I'm fairly certain that 2/3 of the listens are on Anchor. Probably through Apple Podcasts or Spotify or, Google Podcasts, whatever. Any of that stuff, it's all through Anchor. But I'm fairly certain that's about 2/3 of you. And, if I find out that I'm way off and that YouTube is the place, then I would like to do a better job of giving you content on there. Not just a static image when I'm doing stuff. And maybe not only just us sitting at the studio recording, but splicing in videos and doing some other fun stuff, on screen that makes sense. All right, yeah. Answer that question. Let me know what's up. And then I guess the same goes for Twitch. Like, have you checked out one of the Twitch live episodes yet? Or even swung by, dropped a follow? That's another cool way to help us out, actually. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription, which actually gives GrindWorks money to do cool things for the scene. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can drop a free sub every month. And that goes towards like jams and stickers and all sorts of other fun stuff that you guys like to do. So that link will be in the description as well. Really all over the place, and I know it, so I'll talk to you guys in a second. Alright, for all intents and purposes, I am done with this episode. The battery is at 0 bars left. If I replace it, I am going to feel obligated to keep recording. And I just don't feel like there's going to be anything more valuable that I can bring to this episode without seriously just rambling or talking about myself, which, although I don't think there's ever been an episode where we actually talk about me, I'm fairly certain that through all the other episodes, you've heard enough of my stories. And you're probably already tired of hearing me talk anyway, so this is going to be it for this episode. I'm fairly confident this is episode 49. The next episode is going to be 50 because I can count. And that's how that works. So I don't think there's going to be anything special about it, but 50 is kind of a big feeling number. It's the highest episode we've ever had. I guess this is the highest episode we've ever had, too. Anyway, I don't know what that one's going to be yet, or if it'll be anything special. I know I pitched a couple ideas on here. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's see if I can get all these right. Follow at GrindWorks _BMX on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And at GrindWorks BMX without the underscore on Facebook, TikTok, Anchor, or your whatever podcast platform you listen to, YouTube, and then the Twitch is GrindWorks AV, like audio visual, or Andrew Vargason, whichever you want. Let's call it GrindWorks audio visual. I like that better because it could be good for the transition of GrindWorks to being more media type stuff than pegs. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Don't forget to check out the at HCS Skate Park Instagram and hit the link in the bio for the GoFundMe page. Help them out. Toss them $1 if you can. Toss them $10 if you can. Whatever you can do to help them out. If you've been to one of the jams, try to swing something and help them out, because we've been doing those jams for free for the last few years, and we really appreciate if you could keep them open so we can continue to do the jams there. I will update you guys when I have dates for jams for this year, the Pittsburgh one, the Binghamton one, if we're going to do anything else. And I'll keep you in the loop as to what's happening with trips, so that if anyone wants to join up, they can. Most of that will just be posted on Instagram, though. So stay in touch there. Don't mistake the silence on Instagram for doing nothing, because we are working on some stuff. It's just been kind of quiet while I hemmed and hawed over this episode, and also the fact that I haven't been riding that much. But I will catch you guys next time. Until then, enjoy. Have a good one. Happy Mother's Day to anyone out there that may have a child and is a woman or female or whatever you identify as that has a child and wants to be considered a mom or whatever. I don't know. Does that even make sense? Happy Mother's Day. I'm out.